Alright guys, today I want to briefly talk about another enterprise on the farm here, and this is the pigs that we have, the heritage breed pigs. It's a Mangalitsa pigs. It's probably one of the best pork out there, and today I would like to show you how we raise them here and what are the plans for them. So come on in, I'll show you a little bit what we have. So right now the pigs are with the goats. The goats are going to be moved out the next few days. As you can see, we have the electric fence for them. Working great, surprisingly. It's working great so far right now. They're about to get fed, but this is probably one of the best purebred Mangalitsa you can get in Russia right now. And they're very nice. And okay, as I said before, this is probably some of the best purebred Mangalitsa you can get in Russia nowadays. And so right there you can see, come on over. So this is so we have about 35 heads right now. They're all the piglets as well as some of the older pigs here. But this pen right here was designed to train the pigs for the electric fence. So we kept them there for come on. So we kept them here for about a few days, maybe 4 or 5 days. There's electric fence inside it, and that's how the pigs get trained for the electric fence. As you can see, nothing fancy, very simple structure. We have plenty of hay pretty much anytime they want. The hay was supposed to be bad quality, but turns out to be a great hay, in fact. Okay, so the plan is to extend the electric fence all the way to the hill. That's where all the sun is on most of the days during the winter, and we're gonna keep the pigs here till spring. The reason being because it's close by the farm and we want to keep an eye on them, and it's easier of course to feed, because we still feed grain to them as well as the grass baleage. The grain that we feed them is the grain from outside the farm, but the plan is to have all the grain for the pigs grow right here on the farm. So this is the plan for next year. Of course, that I'm going to show you a little bit what we've designed here. So of course the pigs have access to the creek, even though it's frozen now, but they have a spot where they basically keep the creek running, and that's where they go to get some water. All right, and right now we're gonna walk down here, and you're gonna see that the pigs already rooted here, because I think the pigs been here since the ground was not frozen, and yeah, they're about to get fed. That's why they followed me. But come over here. So on the back over there, we build them very simple structures just to see how it's going to work. So this is the fallen tree covered with snow, basically nothing else, and we think that this is going to keep the pigs warm in the bad weather, wind and whatnot. But as long as we have hay, I think they're going to be pretty happy. So what else I can say? So the plan is, the reason to get these pigs was we have plenty of areas on the farm that's very hard to access with the tractor to keep the hay, to make hay, or to get the tiller to plant anything. So naturally the idea was to use these areas, and we have probably over 100 acres like this, and those areas, those hard accessible areas, are located right by the creek, so the pigs will have access to the water pretty much all the time. And of course we're going to move them. So the plan is to keep them in one area for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then move them along these areas where they can be, of course the grass is still growing really nice in that areas, and that's why we want to keep the pigs out there. And of course, by the time the next fall, we're close to the winter, we're going to bring the pigs back to that pen right here. This is one of the older pigs, by the way, right here. So we're going to bring the pigs back to that paddock right here, and this is where we're gonna grow some of the pumpkins, beets, barley and whatnot, just basically everything that the pigs will need throughout the winter. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to tell about the pigs. All right, and right now we're gonna walk down here, and you're gonna see that the pigs already rooted here, because I think the pigs been here since the ground was not frozen, and yeah, they're about to get fed. That's why they followed me. But come over here. So on the back over there, we build them very simple structures just to see how it's going to work. So this is the fallen tree covered with snow, basically nothing else, and we think that this is going to keep the pigs warm in the bad weather, wind and whatnot. But as long as we have hay, I think they're going to be pretty happy. So what else I can say? So the plan is, the reason to get these pigs was we have plenty of areas on the farm that's very hard to access with the tractor to move to keep the hay, to make hay, or to get the tiller to plant anything. So naturally the idea was to use these areas, and we have probably over 100 acres like this, and those areas, those hard accessible areas, are located right by the creek, so the pigs will have access to the water pretty much all the time. And of course we're going to move them, so the plan is to keep them in one area for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then move them along these areas where they can be, of course the grass is still growing really nice in that areas, and that's why we want to keep the pigs out there. And of course by the time the next fall, we're close to the winter, we're going to bring the pigs back to that pen right here. This is one of the older pigs, by the way, right here. So we're going to bring the pigs back to that paddock right here, and this is where we're going to grow some of the pumpkins, beets, barley and whatnot, just basically everything that the pigs will need throughout the winter. All right, so here I wanted to show you how the pigs are build the paths here to the creek, and of course we break the ice now and then, but even though we don't have a lot of snow so far, the creeks, the temperatures are pretty low. But basically this is how they keep it open, and because there's quite a few pigs in the here, they keep it open pretty much all the time. See, they follow me with the goats, everybody. Yeah, that's the time for them to get fed. All right, so another thing I wanted to show here would be that the simple hut that we built, and the idea of this place was to make it very simple, use the older hay and straw, and to basically see how the pig's gonna respond to it. And of course, surprisingly enough, they respond really well. Come here, come here, come here. Here you go. Here you go. Here, they're all of them here. So even though the ground stays frozen, they still manage to dig some. But I can't wait for the spring to see how they're gonna root this area. But like I said, first we're gonna move them up the hill and open this hill for them to access anytime they want, because as you can see, some of the snow is already melted. Come on now, quiet. See right here, you know. So they're pretty different ages, but most of them are about 7 to 8 months old. They've been born in spring. Okay, so here's the hut, right? So we use the fallen tree to basically use it as the base, you should say, and then old hay, but the hay turns out to be really good. So it's serving two things, right? So it serves as the area for them to hide from the weather, as well as they can basically eat it. So all we do, we bring a bale every probably every week, I should say, and cover up the top. And you can see, so right now they're all they're getting enough food in form of grain, and you can see this. He found something right there. You can see this. You can stick. You know, the grass are still sticking out from the snow. But so they got. We made about 10 bales of baleage, so that the wet or moist grass covered in a few layers of plastic wrap, and they love that. They absolutely love that. But you can see right here they make another exit. They just ate it through. But so we're gonna let them, because the weather is gonna be cold, but nothing major as far as wind, so we're gonna let them hang out here for a few more days, and then once we bring another bale, which is gonna cover up this whole thing, and this is gonna be another it's gonna stay for another few days. So like I said, this area very hard to use for anything else, so naturally the idea came to raise pasture pigs. And once I started doing research about the pigs, I decided that the Mangalitsa is probably the best out there for this type of environment. And of course, if you don't know about the Mangalitsa pork, you should kind of research about that. This is what they call the Kobe beef of pork, right? The best pork you can find. And they're going to be, of course, throughout the warm season, pretty much all on pasture, fresh paddocks every couple of weeks, as well as the grain that we plan to grow right here on the farm. We're not gonna supplement or buy hay from outside the farm, so we're all gonna grow it here. So this is the plan. So this area right there that's where we feed baleage. As you can see, there's still a little bit of left, so I think we can actually cut on the baleage somewhat, because they're not feeding the entire thing. They're just getting lazy because they're getting too much. But I think the pigs are happy. They just spread out through the entire area. We probably have I want to say maybe 5 to 7 acres here, something like that. No more, maybe even less, maybe even 4 acres. Not much of an area right here for them. But next few days we're gonna double it. So we're gonna go further out this way, and also just kind of use this hill, because this hill's got the most sun during the winter time, because it's facing south, of course. So that's pretty much it about the Mangalitsa pigs on our farm enterprise. Like I said, additional enterprise on the farm, and I plan to kind of talk about them throughout the different videos. The enterprises we plan to have is of course, cattle you already saw. Pigs is another one. Goats are just the beginning. We're just gonna get our feet wet because we want to breed some of the good tasting milk, as well as good production goats. So these are just they're just regular goats, or not. What do you want? she just wants to hang out with me right here. But yeah, so the goats are the next step, and then of course we want to get some sheep, because I would like to keep the sheep alongside with the cattle, to utilize the pasture the most efficient way. But that's pretty much it. Here I'm gonna check out, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.